Hello, welcome to our Professional Studies presentation. We have chosen to interview two female social care workers, one who works in a domestic violence setting and the other in a homeless service. For the purpose of this assignment, we have decided to use the first person narrative.
Hi, my name is Mary. I am in my 60s. 40 years ago, I qualified as a nurse, practicing for 15 years in a private nursing home. I studied health studies, the equivalent to social care. I specialised in domestic violence and became a community support worker. I am 21 years in an urban domestic violence setting in Northern Ireland.
Hi, my name is Aoife. I have a BA in Social Studies from Athlone IT. After graduating, I travelled to Australia and cared for autistic children. In 2008, I came home and sought employment in a homeless setting as a housing support officer in the Western region, whereby I advocate and support for homelessness.
For the purpose of this assignment, I have chosen three teams: professional identity, threshold concept, and self-care. However, we will mainly focus on professional identity, using threshold concepts and self-care, discussing how they contribute to shaping one's identity in the social care field.
It is possible to imagine a professional without an identity, but it is possible that professionals can't articulate their professional values and commitments. Hence, they purposely draw on their core identity. Professional identity is one's self-concept based on their attributes, values, motives, and experiences.
As a nurse, I felt the public identified my profession through the use of my uniform. However, as a social care, my own professional role as a support worker required verbal communication with the public. I feel this requires my own values, knowledge about my profession.
As a social care practitioner, I feel your professional identity evolves within the organisation in which you work for. Initially, as I worked with children who had autism, my professional identity was often viewed as a childcare worker in the public eye. This shows that context contributes to the professional identity.
Threshold concepts can be viewed as a passage through a portal, opening up a new and once inaccessible way of thinking about something.
It represents a transformed way of understanding something in which without it the professional would not process.
Through my knowledge and experience, I have gained an insight into my professional role. Years ago, as a developmental worker, I created awareness of domestic violence in the community and to other professionals, like the PSNI, which was very scary. However, this enabled me to grow in confidence within myself as a fellow professional.
Personally, I feel one's experience in life aids their identity. As a housing support worker, I empower and support those into independent living. I recall the first client in which I assisted into their new home, and it was through this accomplishment and experience that aided me into the understanding of my role.
Burnout is a response to chronic work-related, interpersonal and emotional stressors, and is measured on three scales: emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and a lack of perceived personal accomplishment.
One must avoid burnout by practicing self-care, which requires one to take care of their physical and mental health.
My professional experience has provided an insight into both physical and emotional strain. It is through this experience that I have gained an understanding on the importance of self-care. From this, I have developed my own personal care routine, like meditating. However, this has not always been the case. In my early years as a support worker, I found myself with a large workload, exhausted and severely stressed. One day, while working with a client, I became overwhelmed with emotion and broke down in tears. I knew from then I had experienced burnout. As a result, I was on sick leave for 6 months.
From the beginning of my social care studies, the issue of self-care was of utmost importance. I recall learning about reflection techniques and models such as Gibbs' reflective cycle. It was when I went into the workforce, the importance of reflection became real and enabled me to establish a work-life balance. It is through weekly supervision and debriefing sessions within the workplace that contribute to the development of oneself and their professional identity. It's important to remember, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Therefore, self-care is important to prevent burnout.
Personally, I feel that society lacks knowledge and understanding around domestic violence, as no one is exempt from being a victim. I feel that all social care practitioners should be equipped with the knowledge and the skills to confront the issue, as it affects each member of the family and the wider society.
When I started working in the homeless sector, I was amazed at the clientele and their backgrounds. Whilst in college, I wished we had focused more on the homeless cycle, as well as the various perspectives in which one may have as a homeless person, as anyone or from any class can be homeless.
Initially, both professionals struggled with their professional identity. However, over time and context, this has changed and their experience has aided their role and professional identity. Both professionals wish they had learned more about their chosen areas, that is homeless and domestic violence, whilst in college. Also, they feel that threshold concepts and self-care enables professional identity.
However, Mary has an additional 28 years of caring experience over Aoife, though Aoife has an honours degree in social care. Aoife is knowledgeable on the importance of self-care and strategies such as debriefing, unlike Mary, who experienced burnout before developing her own self-care.
To conclude, we have displayed two female profiles who work in different social care settings using theories of professional identity, self-care and threshold concepts. We have put together an outlook on the professional roles. Thank you for listening and feel free to ask any questions.